Tubelight child actor Matin Rey Tangu shut down a racist question with aplomb as Salman Khan applauded. During the promotions of Tubelight, Salman Khan's 8-year-old co-star from Arunachal Pradesh was asked if he has come to India for the first time. Matin Rey Tangu's sharp reply left everyone cheering for the boy. Listen into what happened.
आप पहली बार इंडिया आए हो?
ये बोल रही हैं कि आप फर्स्ट टाइम इंडिया आए हो? फर्स्ट टाइम इंडिया आए हो क्या? ये पूछ रही हैं।
हम इंडिया पर ही बेचता है तो इंडिया पर आएगा ही कैसे?
Honestly, I mean, it's not only them. I think it's all of us. We all need to begin from changing our own mindset. Like when I was growing up, unfortunately, even I didn't realize these repercussions when I was growing up. And I used to always see my friends saying, chinky, 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 you should kick it, this, that. Yeah. You don't realize that, you can't call a black person, you can't call him Negro. Things like that, which are, come across, which have been made, I mean, people have made us aware of these things in the West, so you don't say those kind of things. But, it's very insulting to anybody or any sort of nationality to be, referred to as I just think like it's almost like you're attacking their, their expression and who they are.
Well, you can call us right now and give us your views on 0120436967 as to whether India fundamentally is a nation of a lot of racist bigots. And that's the question we try and really address here. Also joining me is my colleague Uday Pratap Singh from the News Center, and also joining me is Stuti Ghosh, media critic. Stuti, coming to you first. This is something which I must confess is quite embarrassing as a journalist as well, because we are supposed to be from a professional class that is supposed to lead the way to our for the rest of the nation, and questions like these are not just insensitive but also smack of basic ignorance.
Absolutely. You know what happened at the press conference, and I just want to say I loved the way the little kid replied, but what basically happened could be anything from an innocent slip-up where you decide to not do your research before going and interviewing stars.
What research is necessary? It's
exactly.
Essentially the boy is from Arunachal Pradesh.
Yes.
It's a mindset which is a problem.
Yes.
If even you have to read up on the fact that Arunachal is part of India, that's something wrong to begin with.
Absolutely. So, no, one is you don't even know whom you're interviewing, you don't know where he's come from, you have no idea. So one is an innocent, which could be an excuse that will be put up, that it was an innocent slip-up. Two, being completely ignorant and racist. And obviously it seems to be the latter, because as a society we're extremely insensitive to certain things. Across the world you tell people you're being racist, they will recoil. In India they'll say, aise kuch nahi hai, to kya hua? This absolute stubbornness about not accepting that the way we treat people, whether they are people from other countries or our own country who might look different, talk differently, have different lifestyles. It's so important that we are sensitive to it. And like you said, from being, from the fraternity, it is embarrassing because you expect people to be at least literate and educated.
Well, indeed, but it seems the education is going to waste for certain people. Uday Pratap Singh also joined us. Uday, what message are we really conveying to this answer to this young star, Matin? Because I'm really impressed by the way he really shut down this racist reporter. Clearly, it shows us to the level of maturity and the intelligence which this 8-year-old boy has.
Well, this is, of course, an innocent reply from this innocent young actor from Arunachal Pradesh, but his reply certainly conveys a lot, doesn't it? Because the fact is, he is an Indian. It was a very ignorant question to which he, of course, replied that he is very much from the country, so how can it be his first visit to India? But yes, this is a prevalence of discrimination, a prevalence of racism, which Northeastern students and others from the Northeast have faced earlier as well. There have been films made on it, there have been awareness campaigns made on it, but certainly they've had no effect if these type of questions, if these type of statements continue. And that's why, of course, he was prodded by Salman Khan and Kabir Khan to answer the question himself, so that he could provide a reply to all, not just the journalists asking the question, but all the people in the country who still have this attitude of discrimination.
Suti, now, while we are all very proud of how this young boy has really silenced his critic here, but what kind of impact it would have on this this little boy's psyche? Because essentially it's innocence which is being questioned. For some reason, suddenly he's questioned as to whether he's even an Indian. Now, he's been quite smart enough to answer it back, but later on, it might really impact him as to why was the question posed to me in the first place here.
Exactly, and I think this is a predicament that a lot of our friends from the Northeast usually feel, because, you know, I mean, he has great spirit. He replied back, and his wit showed, you know, the way he answered back showed that it was such an absurd question. Yes. The fact that he is an Indian, and, you know, how can it be his first trip to India? But like you said, of course, I mean, if he goes back and he thinks of it, and he will find it weird, which is what happens. This is how you alienate people from your own country. And, you know, so this is the sensitivity which we lack. And films are a great way of binding people.
I'm glad. Sensitivity which often is born out of ignorance. And like there was this dialogue in Chak De where you say that we welcome you to our country and said, apne desh mein kya swagat karna hai? So that it's not just these people are deliberately racist, it's just ignorance, and from which it stems out racism.
And in a lot of ways, sometimes Bollywood even perpetuates it. You know, when you have a casual joke, because suddenly, you know, sexism, racism, these things we casually just sneak in, and if you decide to disagree and raise an objection, you'll be called a spoiled sport and just somebody who can't have fun. But I think I'm so glad films are a great unifying factor in the subcontinent. For the first time, I think a film press con has. I love the way this kid has answered back.
Yes.
And I'm sure the journalists and everybody else from our fraternity and people who are listening to will understand that if you find this question stupid, then just stop asking such questions.
Absolutely.
Look around and
read
up your own history and your own geography.
Well, Ashok Pandit, noted filmmaker, also joins us on the phone line. Sir, do you agree with the view that for some reason over the past few years, Bollywood has also been responsible for perpetuating such stereotypes into which people from the Northeast or from those areas are often shown or portrayed as watchmen or as guards? Some people from South India are also shown in a typical dialect, showing with a typical accent and a dialect. Do you believe that Bollywood has been responsible for perpetuating a lot of these myths and misconceptions, and now it also is imperative on the industry to set the right message?
So you are talking about films which were made earlier, and there were caricatures, but we have never made them feel low. We have never made them feel out of place or something like that. And the issue which you have taken up of Tubelight, this child. Now here the problem is of the journalist who didn't know probably that Arunachal Pradesh is not a part of India. You know, it's part of India or it's somewhere else. So where the child actually sets him right and corrects him. So I think it's more for us to educate ourselves and know our history and geography properly. But film industry, earlier days, even now, if there are certain films which we can't generalize about the film industry like this.
Okay.
You might have seen in one or two films, but a film industry as such, we makers, all of us have been making films where we have raised up issues, where we have made commercial cinema, we have made different kinds of films, where our mindset or our reason is not to ridicule anyone or to insult anyone, or to make them feel that they are not in a proper frame of mind or something like that. That has never been the intention of the film industry.
Yes, but again, as there are also some positive examples here, Ashok Pandit, as to how Amir Khan played a person from the Northeast, who had a Bollywood mega film having the central character as someone from the Northeast, or someone from Ladakh, if I'm not mistaken. Similarly, you have had a case like this in where you have a film which has someone from the Northeast being a primary star. But do you believe right now that there is an overall nature of insensitivity and ignorance which is there in a lot of people, in which such casual racism often slips out, such as believing that yes, someone from Arunachal Pradesh needs to come to mainland India to actually believe that he is coming to his homeland or to his native country?
No, this was a child. I think Salman or Kabir Khan has done a great service to Arunachal Pradesh, where they have given such a brilliant role to this child, and they've shot the film there. So it is an area which has been totally sidelined by our country, which has never been, seen about. We have been not bothered about Arunachal, we are not bothered about Assam. So now if the industry is moving towards there, if we are picking up actors from there, if we are picking up those locations from there, I think it is service to the country. Why we are not ridiculing that state or something like that. That is not the intention. There might be some ignorance somewhere. But I think directors like Kabir Khan or other directors of the film industry are very well aware and they're very well educated to see to it that we don't commit any mistake of ridiculing anybody for that matter, any person from any part of the state for that matter.
Okay. Stuti, you wanted to make a point?
Yeah, so just 2 quick points. One, let's also not fall into the trap of just singling out this one incident or saying, we are so insensitive, because this happens across our society. So it happens politically, where any kind of problems, any kind of epidemics in the Northeast is, they don't even make it to the first page of newspapers. Yes. So, from politics to generally in society to Bollywood, where you had a biopic of Mary Kom and not somebody from the Northeast playing it.
Yes.
So, and there was a huge controversy even at that time. So our social consciousness has to improve, because otherwise we'll keep making these ridiculous mistakes, and I'm so glad that that kid answered back.
Well, India, I think we can take a lot of lessons to learn from 8-year-old Matin, who has really exemplified the spirit of New India. Thank you so much, Stuti, for joining us with your views here. We now move